Welcome to Game Time Live. Chris Miles here with the shooter and the coach. We always got to, what do? We leave it.
There you go.
I thought that was me, the shooter. No?
You can shoot right back in the day.
I couldn't. No.
You know how to coach the shooters.
I couldn't. I could defend, though.
Yes, you could.
As we've had a number of incredible performances already this Sunday, a monster double-double, a double overtime game, and two 40-point scorers. And we're not even counting the bearded one in that equation yet. Bradley Beal and Kawhi Leonard, those two guys who we're talking about having a great Sunday afternoon.
Well, it's fun to see when one player, takes over. I'm talking about Bradley Beal because, John Wall's being down. But you see Siakam now getting the big steals. Like Toronto as a whole, coach, all season long has really stepped up and let people know that we're for real. So tonight on the road, they showed again.
This is one of the deepest teams, if not the deepest team in the NBA. So to see them come out, and it seems like each night a different guy steps up for them.
Well, Toronto with a big lead in the fourth quarter. You see it 111-99, and back come the Wizards. Trevor Ariza back with the team. 23 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists, just missed a triple-double. Bradley Beal did have a triple-double, pulled up from long range. Beal, 21 points in the fourth quarter. Wizards down by 7. That's
huge right there. That's just huge from an all-star making a big-time play in the fourth quarter.
Connects again, and we have a 2-point game after Wizards were getting blown out in the fourth. Bradley Beal feeling it. Kawhi Leonard trying to put the game on ice. And it looks, 5-point lead, Toronto up with a minute to go. You think it's over, right? Not so fast. Otto Porter.
Leave it.
That looks like a make, but it's not 3D.
Leave it this time, leave it. There we go.
That one dropped.
There we go.
And we're tied at 124. The comeback, well, sort of complete because we sent it to overtime. Kawhi Leonard. You can't let him rock you to sleep with that extra dribble. 41 points for Kawhi, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. Bradley Beal again, tying the game up at 131.
Putting the ball on the floor, attacking the defense, Bradley Beal there in the overtime.
And then Beal creating for Thomas Bryant, 15 assists for Beal, ties his career high that he set just over a month ago.
And then down the stretch, anytime Toronto, coach, to your point, Ibaka, who got the big rebound for the extra shot, the veteran.
So Toronto with a 2-point lead, 2.8 seconds to go in the second overtime, and the deep pass is intercepted. The Wizards fall 140-138. Bradley Beal played 55 minutes to get those 43 points. Go along with the 10 rebounds and the 15 assists.
Well, Washington shooting 43% from the three-point line. Good night from the deep area.
Yes, indeed. This could be a marquee matchup right there.
Here's Serge Ibaka after the game.
Yeah. This is NBA, man. I know. And when you relax like we did in the second half, team's gonna come back. Because we start so early, getting easy bucket, and we kind of relax. But they didn't give up. You have to give them a lot of credit because sometimes, when teams down like that, they always give up. But they was keeping fighting, and then that's why we had a close game. Yeah, Kawhi is a tough guy, and he was in great position under the basket and the ball, to grab the rebound. Also because I was spacing, to let him play one-on-one. That's why I had that open threes. I think tonight he played like a superstar. That's how we need him to play. He did his job. That's his job as a superstar. Where we need him to step up and make big play like he did tonight.
Wasn't one of the complaints with Washington that they didn't share the basketball, they didn't move the basketball, and suddenly 36 assists in a game tonight for the Wizards. That's a special number.
Yeah, they've been averaging over 30 assists in the game since John Wall has been out. But, Bradley Beal, a big part of that. This is the second time in the last month we've seen him get 15 assists. There's one thing for him to have a 40-point triple overtime game against the Phoenix Suns. It's another thing for him to do it, 3D, against a team like the Raptors with the Wizards down in the fourth quarter. Are the Wizards restoring your faith that they could actually be a playoff team this year? When you see a game like this, I know there's no moral victories, but to see how they fought against the team with the most wins in the NBA.
If you're a Wizards fan, Chris, to your question, you saw some fight tonight you hadn't seen in a while. And also to Coach's point with the 36 assists, it kind of feeds off with last year's, moniker where it's coach. When every time John Wall wasn't playing, they said more, we all eat more. Well, 36 assists proves that we all eat. So the question is now, Chris, can you bring this fight you showed us tonight all the way up to the All-Star break to your question, kind of believe that maybe we can fight for a spot? And that's the thing for me, Coach, that don't let this be a one-game stand where you get down by 25 points, your local crowd starts booing you first, and then you get back in the ball again, you find some energy, and then you make a game of it in double overtime.
Hasn't it seemed like Washington's had a horrendous season up to this point? But when you look at the standings, they're 2 games out of the 8th spot for the playoffs, so it either means the East is really bad, okay, or they've kind of been deceiving, just hanging around long enough to maybe make a move in the second half of the season.
Well, I think to this conversation, Coach, you can say 1 through 5, those teams we kind of believe, they're going to be solid. Maybe before Dragic went down for the Heat, you probably would give them a little more, solid playoff push. But 6 down to 10, it's been fluctuating all season long, to your point. So now John Wall goes down, and then they start playing better basketball. But wait a minute, he's your franchise player. So now, from being up in D.C., a lot of the conversation is, well, wait a minute, John Wall's done for the season. This team is playing better. Now, do we make a move for the trade deadline and maybe shore up our front line and make our rebound a little bit better and maybe hold on to that 8th spot?
Well, who's the move?
That's what I'm saying.
Who would the move be?
I don't know.
Because somebody's got an awful big contract there. I mean, like really big contract.
I mean, really big.
Yeah, really big.
I believe you're talking about John Wall.
Who? No.
Well,
What?
yeah.
Well, let's focus on the team with the most wins in the NBA right now. The Toronto Raptors, seeing how they were able to, again, we talked about the Wizards fighting. The Raptors could have easily been like, okay, this is a game where they have the energy, they take the win. Raptors continue to lead the league in wins. Their only loss since the start of the new year against the San Antonio Spurs. We know that was an emotional game for them with Kawhi Leonard going back down there. When you look at this Toronto team, do you see them as being the favorites coming out of the East to go to the NBA Finals? Not just winning the regular season, but going to the Finals.
Well, Toronto, along with Milwaukee right now, are the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. And let's face it, everybody was expecting Boston to come out and have a sensational beginning of the season, beginning of the regular season. But unfortunately, this is not the same Boston team that finished up at the end of last year. You have 2 guys that came back that weren't there at the end, Kyrie and Hayward, and the chemistry and the same fire isn't there right now that was there at the end of last season during the playoffs, during that great matchup against the Cavaliers. So, the question is why. Sometimes chemistry is hard to attain. It takes time for everybody to fit and want the same thing.
And with that being said, that's why I would say Toronto yesterday, because of that chemistry. Because everyone wondered when you bring in Kawhi Leonard, how are we going to keep this young man happy? Not playing back-to-back. So I think Nick Nurse, along with Masai Ujiri, is doing all the right things and pulling all the right buttons to keep this chemistry on the right page. So now you look at Siakam, all those Van Vliets of the world, they've all improved over the year. Now that's what makes that bench deeper. C.J. Miles still hadn't shot the ball particularly well. We know how he can stretch the defense. So they're deep enough, Coach, and they still have Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard, who were what? Championship tested.
Yeah, what about Indiana? We need to mention them because Indiana, when they finished up last season, everybody was saying, wow, this team, watch out for them next year. But Oladipo hasn't gotten back yet to that level that he was playing at during the playoffs last year. And a certain guy named Paul George was important to that team last year. So even though they're good, they're solid, this is a tough out to knock these guys out. Still may not be the same Indiana team that we saw last year.
And you have to also mention the Philadelphia 76ers, who are a team that you see the young talent, you see the possibility for some ascension. They were in action.
So here's the scenario. Game on the line, you need a 3 to win. Who takes the shot? In this open court short, 3 expert sharpshooters, Hall of Famer Reggie Miller, Dennis 3D Scott, and Kenny the Jet Smith, discuss who they would give the rock to in the clutch.
Smith again. What a stroke for Kenny Smith. Throws it across. Miller for 3. Oh, he backed it in. He backed it in.
Hey everybody, Matt here with three of the most accomplished shooters in NBA history. 3D, Dennis Scott, Kenny Smith, the Hall of Famer Reggie Miller, and so of course...
This is a shooting show.
No, of course.
I was trying to figure out
I want to talk about shooting. One active player to take a game-winning shot, if you could choose, who is that guy?
Steph Curry or Kevin Durant or LeBron James.
Curry saves it three. Steph good! Goes to the corner to shoot a three and hits to tie it up. Shot clock is on. James pull up for a three. Rainbow!
Any more? To take a three to win a game.
I take all three of those. Even LeBron James, in terms of his ability to get it off, he'll get it off comfortably because of his size, strength, and ball handling ability. So he would get it off comfortably. He doesn't shoot with the same accuracy as those other two guys, but he gets a better comfort level at times than those two guys.
For me, active, if we're just trying to get a shot clock's going down, it's Kyrie Irving. His ball handling ability to be able to get to any spot on the floor and get his shot off, to your point, he's going to get his shot off. And he's one of the few point guards, well, there's a lot of point guards in the league, and can shoot the three.
Definitely guys that I probably would have picked, but if I'm going with someone with ice water in their veins, need a shot, I'm going with Dame Leonard. A guy that can create his own shot, or you can put him in a high pick and roll, shoots with depth, can shoot deep, and if you foul him, he's going to make foul shots.
Does the answer change for any of you if I say it's a catch and shoot three to win a game?
Klay Thompson.
Yeah. Catch and shoot, I would add Klay to the catch and shoot. Like, it swung back out to him. I would add Klay to that for sure.
You know, it's funny, we were talking, James Harden.
Ooh, yes, to get a bucket, yes.
He could do.
Oh, my goodness, to get a bucket, yeah.
I mean, we're not
Catch and dribble, off the dribble.
Off the dribble, he's
Off the
great,
dribble, no question about it.
He gets to walk and shoot it. So he gets he gets to do the running man.
I'll make it harder. Let's go back in history. Any player who's ever played to win a game with a three.
Oh, we're sitting right here.
Oh,
Who are you picking?
No, there's
He's
a
sitting
lot
right
of
here.
guys.
No, I'm not. You could go last if you're not going to talk about yourself.
I'm gonna go with Larry Legend.
No.
To make a
three?
three. He said to make a three, right?
To make a three.
To make a three at the end of the game.
Celtics have got 3 seconds. 2. Bird, a runner. It's good!
I'm going with Larry Legend.
I'm going with the guy sitting here only because the moment for Larry is always the moment. For Reggie, he creates more moments, meaning he's looking for an opportunity. I think at times you hope we get down 3. You know, so there's a difference. But Larry's like, no, I'm not even going to let you get up. I'm going to beat you. He's waiting for that moment. And so for me, watching Reggie over the years, I would have to say Reggie would be the guy I would be. Like,
Good looking, Kenny.
No,
Yeah.
but and take it a step further, with Larry, as much as we, love his shooting, he's not going to get open in that situation. Where you, and I'm going to throw Ray Allen into the mix, both of you guys are going to get open because you're probably the best running without the basketball, running off screens and getting open.
I'm
Now,
going to put Larry second, though. I wasn't like,
Kenny, Larry's third. Ray Allen's above him. Well, come on now. But Ray Allen and Reggie Miller, we need a three. Larry's not getting open. Him and Ray are getting open to get that three off.
Rebound, Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
There's a guy that I would want to be in this mix because he's the leading three-point shooter in the history of playoffs over certain attempts. You know who that guy is, right?
Kenny the Jets man.
You know.
I was waiting for that.
You're looking at
That leads to my next question. You may have already answered it, but if in a theoretical world where I could play and I had to choose one of the three of you to win a game with a three, where am I going?
We're all going to pick ourselves. That's how confident we. I mean, in all of our careers that we've all hit game winners, we've all hit buzzer beaters, so we know we can do it. So if you're asking openly, I want to, as much as I love both these guys, I want to take that shot first.
I would honestly say that these guys were better three-point shooters in this regard. That was such a big part of their diet. And for me, it became a part of my diet later on. But I had to learn to be that. It is, like Reggie Miller, we played at UCLA in Pauley Pavilion and in North Carolina. We were like, guard him from here.
Right.
That didn't come into my life until about my 4th year in the NBA. It was always part of Dennis Scott's repertoire. a steady part of that diet, the long ball shot. I was catching up with you all the time.
Right.
Now, I just still think I could shoot the ball. But I just know that you guys it was a better diet.
We all have different strengths at different times. Sure. But at the end of a game, to a man, we're all going to say, put the ball in our hands. Kenny wants those shots.
Yeah, one of the
Kenny
biggest
wants those shots.
One of the biggest moments.
Yeah.
We were actually in the biggest moments in Rocket and Orlando basketball history. Hit a three-pointer to tie the game to send it to overtime in the NBA Finals.
He's been on fire and hits. He's tied the game.
But before that, this dude,
In the regulation,
he comes
right.
back and hits another one.
Back to Scott for three, and he's tied
Back to back.
Yep.
It was him and I.
You haven't made my job any easier.
Well, hey, how about this? Who are you going to pick? If your life depended on it, and your family's life depended on it, and they needed a three to get them out. Come on, man.
I will answer the question. I've got bad news for you and my family. I turned it over before I ever got it. You lost the game.
I will tell you this.
It's why I'm sitting here and not there.
If you gave it to any of us, your family lives.